Hello, Power One, and welcome to your Flowersgiving reading, where we dive into the thanks that are due. We'll get into the thanks that you owe, where you could stand to be more grateful, and this one's kind of nice, but I'm gonna give it a contrast that takes this reading a little bit. Just trigger warning: this could get a little sad, but not because it's sad right now. It's just something to paint to give you an understanding of why you should be grateful for these things. In essence, if you have a loud home, I'm posting this at the time of the holidays where we, at least in my part of the world, we come together with family. And so I don't know if for you it's something that this is your home all year round or if this is a home that you return to. The point is a loud home. And particularly it's individuals, if not the whole thing, that you find annoying. There does seem to be an element of it can be a nuisance, it can be a lot, it can be overwhelming. But it is one home to whatever degree that's true for you. And the contrast here to kind of help you paint the picture is that it is in sharp contrast to what is possible, which is complete silence and solitude, especially around the holidays, especially on days where we know that most of the community around us is communing with their loved ones. And so basically, it's if you're a mom, and mind you, a lot of the energy of these cards does give matriarch. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be mom. It does give like older sister, older cousin kind of vibe. But there is a lot of mom energy here as well. The point is, if you are a mom, and even if you aren't, there will come a time in the future, hopefully in the far, far future, where that noise isn't going to be the same. Maybe it'll be a different kind of noise because it'll be different people, but it won't be the noise that you're experiencing now because it'll be, again, the people that are creating the noise that annoys you now will either be somewhere else in the world or will be in a different realm altogether, so to speak. And so kind of it's that understanding of yes, it's a lot and it can be overwhelming, but understand that on the one hand, there are people on the planet right now who have no home to return to or who do but have no way to be there for whatever reason. And so it's just kind of like just kind of be grateful for what it is that you do have because one, there are people who don't have it, and there might come a day where you won't have it either. Just the way the cookie crumbles, right? If that's not true, that doesn't necessarily have to be true for all of you. Other messages that I'm getting from these cards individually. With birds, and this will be true, you'll know if it's true. If you generate a lot of attention, and if it's not just negative attention, that is something to be grateful for. And particularly what's coming through about it, it's not just being grateful for it, but understanding it as a resource where, take advantage of it, understand that it's something that you wield. And so how are you wielding it? Are you wielding it responsibly, or are you just using it as a sort of way to fan your ego? With house, I don't remember what the card is called, but your home, if you have a roof over your head, even if it's like just you're living in your car right now, like, even that in and of itself is more than other people have. Let's just put it that way. If you have a full roof over your head, if you have a home, a stable home that you know that you don't have to worry about rent and it's stable and you know that that's your home and there's nothing that's going to take it away from you, understand the privilege of that. And with mice is generally a negative card because it can mean like ailment or something that takes away or draws away from you. What I'm getting from this is be grateful for the small problems that you have. And I'm not saying that you only have small problems. Everybody has big problems, and for whatever big problems that you do have, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the smaller ones. I don't really know what that means. I'm kind of just I'm assuming that that's going to mean something to to whoever is receiving it. If that's true for you, cool, great. If you know that you've been needing to like be a little more grateful for the smaller things, maybe because you just got over some really, really big things. I don't know. The point is, that's kind of what I'm getting in terms of with mice, this negative card being here and what you can stand to be more grateful for. the small problems in life, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Another, if not small, then temporary. The temporary problems in your life, things that, like the problems in your life that have a solution. Because I'm kind of thinking, like, if you have a mice problem, like, you can call someone to take care of that. Like, there are solutions to that. Unless you live in a rural area where that's just going to be a consistent problem for you, then I'm not talking. Then I'm speaking in metaphor here, please. Okay, to move into the thanks that are due to you, the things that are owed to you, we have the beautiful cards, by the way. The Empress, the Queen of Wands reversed, the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups right next to the Queen of Cups. Beautiful, marvelous energy. I really, really do hope that there is someone in your life who recognizes that you do this, and if not, outside of it being your kids, I need you to understand that you should be thanked for doing all that you do. Because one thing that these cards demonstrate clearly, it's screaming it, is how much you do in your family unit. Whatever that is to you, or wherever it is that you invest yourself in, you go above and beyond. And it's not just about you being efficient and you get the job done and like you're reliable. It's not just that, which is already remarkable in and of itself. It's that you bring this energy of warmth and understanding and patience and nurturance. And even if you're like sitting there like, no, I'm not like that, I'm getting that it's in comparison. Like in comparison to the other people in that individual or these individuals' lives, you are very much a welcome contrast to what they know. Where it is, okay, I'm just gonna, there's so many things coming through and I'm just gonna get into them and as they come. With the Empress, the bookends being the Empress and the Queen of Cups, and mind you, the Empress was the card at the bottom of the deck and the Queen of Cups was at the top of the deck. So it's that energy of just so matriarchal, so maternal, so nurturing. Even if you aren't feminine in body or in aesthetic or in expression, there is just a certain level of comfort that you bring to people or a certain individual or a certain group. And you really are looked at as someone that people can look to, if only for that energy, but also it could extend to like they know that they can count on you for advice. It feels like even more than that. It feels like they can count on you, like if for certain people, like the people that you love, they know that you're the person that they would call if they had that big problem at like late at night. You're who they would want to call because they know that like you would not only go and take care of it, but you would also be super understanding about whatever happened to put them in that position where they needed help. They know that they wouldn't be judged, and even if they were judged, they know that it would come from a place of love. Like you really give people this understanding that like you're not there to be, because there's just a lot of meanness in the world, a lot of cruelty, a lot of judgment, and you've really demonstrated, even if it's just by the way that you move, maybe you've not said anything, it's just the way that you move, and you like people have maybe noticed the way that you handle certain things, and it's like you handled that in a way that some shitty person would have handled in a completely different way. People have borne witness to that, and it's something that's like very clear. It's clear in your energy, and it's clear in the proof, the tangible proof that people have. Like people can recount specific instances where like, no, this is this person's character, like this is who this person is. Like it doesn't come through like someone's talking crap about you, but if that were to happen, the energy here is like, no, that's not who this person is. Do not talk about this person that way. You do not know them. If that's the impression that you got from them, in the back of this person's mind defending you, they'd be like, if that's what they thought of this person, I'm going to take a step back and pay more attention. They wouldn't maybe say that to that person, but it comes through like that, where it's undoubtable that you, like, I don't know if it's just for this individual or like this group, where it's like, no, you really are a comfortable, very welcome, again, contrast to whatever else exists in their life. The Queen of Wands, this is true for some of you, and allow me to elaborate before you get offended, if you get offended. It gives the energy of like a former baddie. Not that you're not a baddie anymore, but because you now have this maternal, matriarchal energy, it kind of just gives like, where people, if this is true, where people, and this is coming through like younger people, might want to sexualize you because they are attracted to you, their respect for you kind of like puts a stop to that. And it's just like, no, 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 no. Like, I have to respect this individual. And so it's kind of like this very reserved, like, yes, you're great and you're phenomenal, but like, it's very, I hate to kind of reduce it to this, but it is very schmore Madonna complex. And I'm speaking in code here because of where I'm posting this. But I hope you understand what I mean. But and so it's when people are trying to categorize, and this is especially true if you are of a feminine woman expression, you know, men, masculine energy, but women and feminine energy is guilty of this too sometimes, where they need to categorize you into one of two categories, whether it's going to be very, again, Madonna, maternal, virginal, or the opposite. And so for those of you that it's like, you pull and you do have that level of attraction, and even for some of you, like, even if you don't think that you pull, there's this energy of like, no, I have to respect you. And I have to draw, like, I just have to respect, like, you're someone to be respected. With the Eight of Pentacles, it is confirming that this is that, like, beyond your home, if you are a mom or an older sister, someone who, like, is very nurturing to the people in your home, it extends to the place of work. And if, for those of you, like, you don't work or you work at home, people in your community, people, like, it extends outside of your home. It's basically what the Eight of Pentacles is saying. But another thing that the Eight of Pentacles is saying is where I was getting that message of, like, you, not only do you come through very efficiently, like, you get the job done, the consistency, like, there's something about, like, because you're so consistent in the way that you move, that's why people trust it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this wasn't just for, like, the first year that I knew you while you were trying to set a good impression on me. No, this is just who you are. Yeah. There is also something to be said about, and you'll know this is if this is true, where if you know that you have something under your belt that you worked really hard for, an achievement, it's coming through for all of you. Like, there are achievements under your belt that people really admire, where it's part of the reason that they respect you so much, because they understand that it's like, oh, they put themselves through this even despite those hard circumstances. They did X, Y, and Z, and it's like, whoa, like, they really do accomplish, like, what they set their mind to, like, they really do have that capacity to get. It's not just about if they want it, like, they then figure out how they're gonna get it done, and they get it done. It's super impressive. Like, people are very impressed by you. And then this final beautiful combo of the Ace of Cups with the Queen of Cups. Oh my God. And I'm so serious. Like, I don't know if this, for some of you, it's just that there's been one individual. For some of you, this is a pattern. You kind of do trigger that in, especially, like, who you attract. So just depending on your expression, you'll know what you attract. So what you attract, in terms of people, the people that you attract, you really trigger that in them of, like, oh crap, like, where do I categorize? You freak that out in them of, like, do I want to, like, pursue you romantically, or do I want to, like, hug you and be nurtured by you and, like, learn what it means to be loved by you at a deeper level? In some level, to some people, and you'll know that this is true, it's like that was your person who realized that they wanted all of it. Like, okay, I not only do I want to pursue something romantically, but I want to pursue something romantically to the degree that I want to know what it is to be loved by them as family. Like, to that degree where I'm the person that this person loves the most. Outside of having kids, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the connection stage. And so it's the Ace of Cups with the Queen of Cups. It's just like, you don't just come through as someone that people want to just be attracted to. And I'm talking specifically to the people that get to know you. Like, people who just see you on the street might just be attracted to you, and cool, great. But I'm talking about specifically the people that get to know you. It's like, crap, like, okay, I'm attracted to you because you're so great and nurturing. And I like the energy that you bring, but at the same time, it's like, I have to respect it. Like, you really confuse people, but it's a good thing. It's something that people really value. It's something that, like, it really comes through as, it's something that teaches something, where in some instances, experiencing that with you has really shaped the way that people move moving forward, where they didn't really realize that they were doing this until they met you, and it kind of shocked their system, and it's like, wait, like, why am I doing this? It might not, this isn't right. And then like developing a friendship with you, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to disrespect them this way. I'm not saying this is true for all of you. I'm just kind of giving an example of like this energy of that experience of you confusing them. It's something that does leave an impression beyond it just be like, oh, wow, I'm really attracted to this person, or they really left an impression on me, I want to be around them. It's something that they walk away with, and it's an experience that it's like, I gained something from that. They really illuminated, demonstrated something to me about myself or about my attraction, etc., etc. You help determine things for certain people. Take that as it applies, and I think that a lot of you can't even see how that might apply. So that's what I'm getting, and I'm gonna leave it there. Any other messages? Hold on. If you are in a happy, loving connection, and I'm talking like long term, where you guys have been together for years, and for a lot of you, it is coming through as like a happy marriage, but that's not true for all of you. This person is very grateful for you. And I'm talking specifically to those of you who have that healthy relationship with an individual who sucks at communicating. And I'm not just talking about like how we all suck at communicating and we all have to learn. This maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, it is coming through. Like for some of you, like this individual is there's a little trauma involved around communicating so vulnerably. Trauma around vulnerability, whatever that is. And so they really, okay, if that's true, then they don't suck at communication. They just very much struggle with it for valid reasons. And so this reading is coming kind of through as, and you'll only take this if it applies. You'll know if it's true if you are with a person that you know loves you, but they just don't communicate it because they don't communicate it well, or they just don't communicate well. They do. And if it is about, this is the energy that's coming through is if you know that you need to ask at least once for a thank you or just some type of acknowledgement because you're feeling neglected, it's time to speak up. And if you're afraid of, if you speak up and you don't get anything, that is data that you need to be honest with yourself about and move accordingly. Because for some of you, it is that you've been asking for a thank you from someone you know can give it to you but won't. And in those cases, girl, I think you know what you need to do. And for the others, kind of like I've been saying, it's not that, where it's just that this individual, for reasons of their own, just cannot say it, or struggle to say, or just can't say it yet, or whatever the case is. And so if you need to have that conversation of like, I'm feeling neglected and not thanked enough for everything that I do, I need some type of thank you, even if it's not out loud, like some type of something, a gesture, like it's time to have that conversation. It's kind of what's coming through here. Okay. One final thank you from me. Thank you for being here at this reading, for sticking around this long. I hope that this reading had something for you, and I hope to catch you in another reading. Godspeed. Bye. Okay, so hi, pal 2. Welcome to your Flowersgiving. What an interesting reading. From the shuffling process down to this moment where I've been sitting with the cards for a second and I've been interpreting them, every step of it has been interesting in that this is not where I thought, or what I thought we were going to get from this reading. This reading, is meant to be about thanks, where you, part of the first half being where you could, like, where gratitude is due on your behalf, like on your part, where you could stand to be a little more grateful, or what you should be grateful for, rather. And then the second half is where thanks are due to you. And okay, the first one, this is only the second pile. It's the first time I'm doing this reading, so this is really only the second time I'm doing this reading for someone else, and because I did it for myself first. And with the first one, I got 5 tarot cards for the second half, or the second portion. And for you, it really came strongly to only do 3 cards. And I felt almost bad at first, because I sorry to doubt you, pile two. But for a second before I flipped the cards over and I understood what the reading was, I was like, wait, like, is pile two not being giving a lot of thanks? Like, that's kind of sad. But then I saw the reading and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why it has to be so quick and simple. And so, spoiler alert, this might not be a thanks that you care too much about, but it is one that might serve as vindication, as validation, as closure, maybe. But let's just get into it. Where gratitude is due. It seems the way that it's being, the message that's coming through with the Lenormand cards is that there is something very difficult that you went through, that it took a lot for you to get over this particular individual. And because of the rest of the cards, that's how I know that that's what we're talking about, where it's about an individual who it really feels like you had to recover from this individual. And the process of not only being with them, but then also getting over them, being with them, ending things with them, or however it ended, and then getting over them. All of that was hell, and it was something to like really journey through. And journey's putting it lightly. Like it does seem like a trial, like a tribulation even. And okay, and then with coffin there in the center, it's two things are being said with this card. On the one hand, it's over. This isn't something that you're going through currently. And if you are, it's something that you're putting in the work for it to be over. Coffin denotes that this is the period of tumultuousness of getting over it is behind you, and that's why coffin there is in the center. But the second thing that's being said here is that part of you, and it might sound dramatic, but you get it, and if it's true for you, then you get it, but a part of you died in that coming out of that, where getting over that and understanding what it meant, accepting what happened there really meant accepting that you now know better. Now that you've gone through this, you know better, and it's almost like a loss of innocence. Like when you were operating within that relationship, there was an innocence that because you've gone through what you went through with that individual, you can no longer just be fully open to a relationship the way that you were in this one, because you hadn't been hurt the way that you had been hurt while you were operating in this one. And now forevermore, you will carry the hurt and the trauma of this relationship as you're progressing forward. And so now let me use my words more intentionally, because it's not like forevermore. It's not. The way that the reading is coming through here is that you are the type of individual that can put these things to rest and put it to bed and understand, okay, that was a period of my time where I was dealing with that, and now I have put that to bed. That is no longer a part of my life. I am moving on with my life. There are new parts of my life. There is the rest of my life for me to step into and take over and really step into and leave all of this behind, basically. And so that's what coffin is saying, where okay, that period of life is over, and if you're currently going through it, you have the capacity to put this to bed. And really anything that you understand, like, yes, it might be difficult, especially where it surrounds grief, something that is difficult to get over in terms of like the emotional toil that it takes on you, emotional toll that it takes on you. But the point is that it is something that you have the capacity to put to an end. And then in the particular circumstance that we're talking about with this individual, the experience with them and the getting over it, recovering from it, is you do understand that you lost parts of yourself in that. And with Fox is cunning. And so there's this understanding that, and this is kind of where I was getting, where cunning comes from experience, it's knowledge, and so you now move differently because of what you learned going through all of that. You're smarter, you are wiser, and so yes, certain parts of you were left there, but you gained a lot. You unlocked higher capacities of yourself, within yourself, through those experiences. And so it's, yes, there's a sense of loss with coffin, right? And the things that were lost, not just in terms of the relationship, but the loss of self, the loss of the parts of self in that process. But there was also very much that was gained. And And so this is the message that's coming through as to like, where is gratitude due? Well, on the one hand, with Mountain being pointing to the card, pointing to the energy of the trial and tribulation that it was not only to be with them if it was bad being with them, but then the recovery of it ending or getting over them. The message there is to be grateful that it's over. And if it isn't over, be grateful that it is temporary, and that it is a period of your life. I know that's kind of tough to be grateful for that, hell. But it is the message that's coming through, and I have to deliver it. And if you're having difficulty of it, then the fox is kind of highlighting the why. But okay. With coffin, now that you see what it is, and especially if this is like with an individual that was a really bad person, and you're happy that they're no longer in your life, well, then that's what there is to be grateful for. The fact that they're no longer in your life. Something as simple as that you're free of this headache is something to be grateful for. We were also talking about how the coffin was representing your capacity to put things to bed and like leave it behind you. That is also something to be grateful for. Some of you know this because you are the type of individual who has a really hard time letting go. So if you've let this go, then that really is something to be grateful for. On the other hand, the rest of you don't have a hard time letting go. And so if that's you, be grateful that that's who you are, because there are people who never let anything go and carry it with them every moment of every day for the rest of their lives. Just plagued by a moment of life. So just, something to be grateful for. Simple, but there's that message. And then with Fox, again, the wisdom that you've gained, the sharpness that you've gained, Fox here really denotes that if it's not that it's already happened, it's something that can happen, where there are people who will try to fool you, and you at this point are just too, like, you can spot a scam artist, because of what you've experienced here. And it's not that like, oh, maybe if this was okay, it's not that you have like unlimited wisdom because of this is what you went through. It's just this understanding of you do know a lot more now than you did before you went through all of this. That's what's being said here. And that is something to be grateful for. Hard to do sometimes if we're fresh out of it, but it is something to be grateful for. Knowledge, wisdom, experience, golden. That stuff is golden. So that is where gratitude is due. Okay, who's giving thanks to you? Spoiler, I already gave the spoiler, but it's them, right? Why do I know this? We have the 4 of Pentacles reversed, the Tower, and then the 9 of Wands reversed. Okay, given that the Lenormand message was what it was, which is there was getting over this individual, and then there was it being over, and then the wisdom that you gained through it. That's a breakup. That's and even like whenever way, shape, or form, something ending that gives you wisdom is a breakup. Now, I'm really not getting it here, but in the rare instances where the message that's coming through is for like an individual, like your partner, they passed away. And in the specific instances where they were not a bad person, then the message there is like it is wisdom that you came through this like tumultuous experience, but it's the knowledge and understanding of life, like as a whole, as an experience. Death is a part of that, and experiencing it so closely does give you a deeper understanding of what life as an experience is, and that in and of itself is gold, even if you can't see it now. But although if you're at this reading, it does feel like you are ready to like sit with that and accept that. And so where that's true, this message, okay, I'm just going to give this message to you, and then we're going to move on to the rest of y'all, because this reading really is for the rest of you guys. For those instances where that's the specific issue, where you lost your partner to death, and they were not a bad person. Specifically, they were not a bad person. It's coming through as they are sorry, and I don't particularly know that I've ever received messages from like across the veil, so I don't know how much like merit there is to this. I'm delivering the message. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's just I've never done this, and I know I've never whatever. Okay. Basically what's being said is with the Four of Pentacles reversed, because the Four of Pentacles is a structure, a stable structure, because it is a Four of Earth. And so it's reversed, it's a structure unmade, and the Tower is destruction. And then the Four, because it's a structure of Earth, that's like a home. So a home destroyed. So it's like they're sorry that the home was destroyed, and that there was all of this destruction, and that you were basically the Nine of Wands reversed, that you were left in this long recovery by yourself. There is that message of sorry, that you had to go through that. Now, I but like my practice is one where I channel for the universe, for love, the universal energy of love. And so that might be where that message is coming from. I don't want to like give you this instance of like, death is I respect death too much for me to sit here and claim that I speak for the dead. I don't. That's not something that I've ever like done. It's just that that's the message that's coming through. And so I, like, out of just an overabundance of caution, I'm going to say that the message is from the universe and from love. But if you know, I'm not going to say that I don't believe in messages from beyond. It's just that I myself don't do that, which is why I'm just giving that like, kind of aside. If you in your day-to-day have gotten like inklings that they are around and giving you a message, then hey, happy to deliver that for you. But from my energy and from where I'm at, I am channeling that. When I was tuning into this energy and before I shuffle, I was tuning into universal energy and universal love. So that's what I'm kind of like, that's what I feel like I'm channeling. But you'll know. Okay. If that is true for you, let us all who are all here collectively take a second to send warmth to the individuals who are here after losing their partner, who again was not a bad person like the rest of y'all here. Let's take a second to just send them some warmth. Thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you at the next one. Now, for the rest of y'all, we've gone through a breakup and it was shitty and tumultuous, and we learned a lot from all of that ending. Okay, then this message is from that individual, that person's energy, where it's okay. Let's go through them individually. The Four of Pentacles reversed there is this understanding of I don't know if this is true across the board. It's definitely true for some of y'all. For this individual, things have gone on in their lives where the way that they were operating, if when you were with them, they were at a very high in their life, there is definitely something that's happened since then where their life as you knew it back then and as they lived it back then isn't what it was anymore. That structure, the way that it stood, that's no longer true. Something is very different in a way that feels like a loss to them. With Tower, these two cards together is what was giving me that aside. But across the board for all of you, there is this. Your absence has been felt. Because again, the Four of Pentacles upwards would be like a sturdy structure. So then the reversal is, and it's not sturdy. Something's missing. And so it's kind of this recognition of like, oh, I do feel the absence there of pile 2. With Tower, this understanding of, okay, yeah, I've burned I'm speaking on their behalf. Let me correct my wording here. They feel, this individual that you have left in the past, they feel like they've burned all bridges to you. Like there is no possibility of them returning to your life because of the way that things panned out. And so any possibility for any future has been destroyed by their hand. To some degree, for some of you, for some of you, it's that they blame themselves, but they also blame fate, where it's like, damn, like, why did y'all have to do me so dirty? But for some of y'all, if you know that your person's like this and they don't take any accountability, they're fully blaming fate. They are not taking accountability, and they're just like, why God? Why me? I'm such a, if they're narcissistic, they might be like, I'm such a good person. Why me? But it's just, no. And so that in and of itself, where, especially if it's a destruction of ego, where things ended because of a high ego and they didn't want to like see anything, they've been put into this place of, they're no longer so much on that high horse. They're looking at things through a different lens, and it's not through a very clear lens. only take this advice. You'll know if this is true, and if it isn't, don't make me make up a truth for you. But if you know that they are the type to kind of emotionally crash out, if you know that they don't regulate well enough to handle accountability well, then that is what's very much going on with these two cards here. The Tower, they're not handling, it's the destruction of self also. Like the recognition, the acceptance of their hand in how things played out with you does destroy a part of themselves, and that's something that they're really struggling with. And that's why we end here with the Nine of Wands reversed. I want to point out, if you look closely at the imagery, these are very simple cards. It's a pip deck, so the Nine of Wands literally just depicts 9 wands on the card. But this deck, what I love about it is that it adds details. In most of the pip cards, it'll depict some type of flower or plant, but in this one specifically, there's no plant life, and instead it's just very still snow. There's no movement in the snow. It's just it just looks like snow, and it's just very still, and there's this stillness in cold. The vibe that I get from it, and this is just so specific, but this is the vibe that I get from the card in this context, is, you know, when you are like the few days after the worst of a flu or a cold, where you're starting to feel somewhat like yourself again, and you're starting to be able to breathe and taste things again, but you're not at your 100%, and you feel all shriveled up, and you feel kind of like like a piece of shit, because you're kind of just like, everything sucks, and you know, it just, you feel so weak, and what's the word? In Spanish, it's débil. Not gentle, but like tender. Like you feel very, I don't know what the word is, but it's just, I don't know. You feel like shit, basically. And that's kind of but you're recovering. And it's kind of like you have some like maybe, vapor rub on your nose and on your chest, so you like feel good, you feel better than you have felt in the last couple of days, but you're not at 100%. It kind of feels like that, like this recovery stage of like, or maybe after like jumping into like really cold water, and you're just there shivering with a towel, and you're just cold, and you're starting to warm up, but everything still sucks. It's that energy where, yes, everything still sucks, and sure, the worst is behind me, but that doesn't mean that I'm fully 100% yet. Everything does feel like shit. And so it's kind of that energy of, they're really in this space of they're not okay. To what degree, it's going to vary. For some of you, it is very much, I don't want to say it's just internal, because it does seem like a very heavy internal thing. But for some of you, it's not just internal. It's not just an internal destruction and a crash out. It's more so like it extends to into their external day-to-day life, where for whatever reason, they're no longer, again, in that high point in their life, if that is what's true for you. And even if that wasn't true for you, if they've always been kind of like down on their luck, know that that's continued, that that's still where they're at. If not, that they're kind of worse off, just as because choices that they've made. And honestly, none of the cards are kind of, I mean, okay, yeah, actually, no. A lot of it has to do, I mean, I don't want to say that, okay, because of things, the way that things went with you, their life went to shit. It could be that. It could be that energetically, your guides don't play about you, and they took care of that because it was so horrendous what went on. But on the other hand, it feels more so like someone who mishandles a relationship is someone who is mishandling their life in some way, shape, or form. So it only makes sense that someone who mishandles so much that things kind of fall apart for someone like that is kind of more how it comes through. But you'll know it's true for your specific case. So again, an interesting reading, and again, not sure that that's like a thank you that you like wanted to hear, but it's the reading that came through. Where, okay, where is gratitude due? That this hell is over, that this icky weirdo piece of shit is no longer a part of your life and no longer someone that you have to engage with. And bonus, you have gained a lot of wisdom and know-how, and you know better now, and that in and of itself is something to be grateful for. This person, okay, so why is this person grateful for you? It's part of the absence, where it's like, okay, I recognize that I want them in my life, but for a specific few of you, wow, I said few, whatever. For a few of you, and I don't even want to say you'll know if this is true, because if this person has not been in your life for a while, you really wouldn't know if this is true. And honestly, they're part of your past. Why open that door again? But for some of you, it really is that this individual learned their lesson, and they do look at you. They look back at you with gratitude because they recognize that the experience that they had with you is one that helped them to grow. For some of you, it's not that this has already happened, but something that they do have the capacity to get to if your individual has the capacity for that. But as we've kind of talked about, there are some of you that you're dealing with an individual who will never be able to pull their head out of their butt. So you kind of just need to accept that and across the board, maybe just accept that that's what it is, because even if they are the type of person to be able to change and they have changed, given what it is and like the way that this reading come through, you've moved on. This isn't someone that you're willing to welcome back into your life. So just maybe leave it at let's just leave it at, you know what, they never changed and they never accepted anything. Screw them. But the truth, the message is there. Where like for some of you that is true, and maybe that helps. Maybe that's a form of closure for you or a validation. Like I said at the beginning, my friend, I hope. Oh, one last thank you. Sorry, from me personally for staying here so long, to the ending of this reading. I hope it had something for you. And if you are a subscriber, if this isn't the first reading that you've watched, thank you just for any amount of time that you have spent here at this channel. It is a work of love on my behalf, and it's something that I am just happy to put my time into. So thank you for being here and appreciating what I do. Okay, bye. Godspeed. I'll catch you at the next one. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your Flowersgiving reading, where we are getting into the thank yous that are due. Now, the first portion of this reading is where gratitude is due on your behalf, where you're being asked to extend more gratitude. And the second portion of the reading is what thanks are due to you. And so with the first portion, we have Fox, Lily, and Cross, which are really interesting cards to get, because for Cross is usually a very negative card. It's a burden to bear. It's something difficult to bear, but that we bear nonetheless. And that's what's being said here. With Fox, it's an intentional movement. For a lot of you, it's a desire. This is an inherent desire within you to... Okay, I need to... Because there's a specific few of you that I have like the specific example, and I know that that's what it's picking up on, but I know that's not true for all of you. So I'm trying to take care of the broad strokes before we get into the specific ones. And okay, across the board, you are the type of individual that is able to do something very, very difficult and something that is very taxing on you, but you're willing to do it. And this willingness is attached to a desire. Very likely a desire to serve, a desire to help, a desire to be good, to contribute something good, something worthwhile. And if it might go beyond that, where it's not so much an inherent desire, it's just who you are. This is just what you know how to do. There's nothing else you could be. You're dependable. And there's something about like you can really take on things that other people wouldn't be willing to do, that you are. Okay. The specific example that I'm getting, and of course, if this isn't true, that doesn't mean that this reading isn't for you. If what I've said so far is true, great. Welcome to your reading. But the specific example that I'm getting is someone in some way, shape, or form in the medical field, where you are helping people through the most distressing part of their one of the most distressful parts of their lives, and helping to recover through it. And you know what all of that entails, where it is a difficult thing. Even before that, just taking on medical school and how long that can be, and that's taxing on your resources and your time, right? But and your money as well, medical school. And so it's this, even just the medical school, and then the training, and then even doing the job itself is very taxing. And so every aspect of it is very demanding of you, and you do it anyway. It's something that you want to do. It's something that you pursue. It's something that again, you feel called to. It feels inherent to you. There's nothing else that you could see yourself doing. Okay, so where are you being asked to extend gratitude to these traits within yourself? It comes through because this is the reading that you're getting. It comes through as you are the type of individual that really struggles with accepting recognition. And if that's not what it is, it's just that you lack self-awareness. You struggle with self-awareness, and so you don't recognize these things about yourself. And so you're just being asked to recognize that these are quality traits to have, that not everybody has this. And some of you already know that, but okay. For those of you that are more aware, you know that to be true. But for those of you who lack awareness, it might help to look around and look at what motivates those around you. And then in that way start to juxtapose, the difference. And it's not about feeling better than others. It's just a recognition that for you, it's pure. Like with Lily there, like it's pure of intention. It's pure of heart. Like for you, it's just who you are, where for others, they might be motivated by for other reasons. And it's not about negating their own experience. It's just about it helping, the contrast helping you to better see yourself, and extending gratitude to those aspects of yourself, which again, quality traits to have. Okay. The thanks that are due to you. A lot, actually. With the Wheel of Fortune here, the Wheel of Fortune, one of the things that I gain from it is a sense of everyone. And if not everyone, just like a lot of people. A lot of people that when we look at the group of people that we're talking about, there are people from like all walks of life, and if not all walks of life, a very diverse group of people. And so there's part of the message that's coming through for you is that there are a lot of thanks that are due to you, and a lot of them that you'll probably never get, not because the people don't recognize their gratitude towards you, but because it's just something that it's a passing thing, where it's either strangers or people in the past that no longer have access to you. They just will never be able to say thank you, but they are thankful for you. One of the things that's coming through is that there is an individual right now experiencing a moment of awareness where now they see. When they're looking at the whole picture, they're sitting in this moment of awareness where through experiences that they've had, those experiences have really opened their eyes to certain things. And one of the things that they've opened their eyes to is the value that you brought into their life. You brought a lot into their life, and not just a sense of what feels like completion, not just in terms of like you completing them, take that if it's true and if it's romantic, or that type of a connection, but completion in terms of like there's a complementary essence to your guys' connection, where they really feel like they benefited a lot from what you had to offer them, because it was things that they did not have or weren't used to. Take that as it applies. But then beyond that, there was also this sense of camaraderie, of familiarity with you that they're not used to, or that if they are used to it, it's something that they haven't experienced in a long time, or something that they recognize it's a rarity in this world for them to feel that type of camaraderie. In some instances, or just to give you an example, what this feels like is kind of like being part of an immigrant community where you don't realize how little there are of your people out in the world until you go out and look for them. And so when you find someone of your same like culture, if it's not like a very big culture, it feels like that sense of camaraderie of like, oh, like it's someone that I know. And so like if that's true for you, like think of how that adds to that, where it's like this individual that I met, I could have met anybody, but I met this person who like feels like home, like my culture in some way, shape, or form, and I like fumbled that in essence. And that's kind of like the loss that they're feeling. Sorry, not loss that they're feeling, but it's like they're recognizing that is something that you make them feel. I don't know why loss came through. Maybe that's true, where it's like they're recognizing it now because it's the absence of you that's making them recognize this. Take that if it's true, take that if it applies, though I may make up truths for you. But okay, across the board, there seems to be this element of when people mature is when they really get a sense of how grateful they should be for you. The Hanged Man reverse is what gives me that energy of like the suspension of the Hanged Man upwards not being something that needs to happen, but something that's currently happening. And that's why we see when the Hanged Man is reversed, we see the figure in the card upwards to us. And so I kind of see like the way that I interpret the Hanged Man when it's upwards is any reversal in that spread, the Hanged Man can see clearly because he's upside down. But when the Hanged Man is reversed in a spread, and therefore the character in the card is upwards, I interpret the upwards card surrounding that card to be what that hanged man is learning, through the experience of suspension and wisdom gained, etc., etc. And so through maturity, there's this understanding of just how much you do for them, Wheel of Fortune, this idea of totality. And then with the Six of Wands, this feeling of like victory, like knowing you and being around you felt like a good thing, like a victory, like an achievement. But again, that sense of camaraderie that I was talking about, where this sense of me and mine, and you helping them to feel that. Whether, again, it's something that felt like a loss or not, maybe it's someone that's still in your life, but like recognize that if you don't feel like people recognize what it is that you bring to the table, understand that for a lot of people, it's so big and so real that it really does take for that maturity to happen before they recognize its value and its merit. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who just can't see that until it's too late. Unfortunately, there isn't an abundance of that your type of energy in this world. And so when people come across it, they don't really know what to do with it because, again, it's a rarity. And so, again, it's this whole reading is to bring this awareness so that you, in the contrast, you can see yourself a little bit clearer and understand, I mean, you are a rarity in this world. And so just the way that you move, the way that you operate, and so understand, like, be more grateful for that. Be more grateful, not just that this is who you are and the way that you're viewed, but that this is you. Not just grateful that this is the way that you're viewed, but grateful that this is who you are, that you have the privilege of being regarded in such a way by so many people. That you benefit people, that you are of benefit in people's lives. And it's not that like the worth of our lives is measured by the good that we can do for people. No, of course not. But that is something that you do. It's undeniable that you do help people, that there are people who recognize that because they've known you, they have, not me quoting Wicked right now. Because they've known you, they've been changed for good. That's not what I was going to say initially, but I saw the opportunity and I'm taking it. But you've in essence helped them in some way, shape, or form, and that's something that they're grateful for. And there are a lot of people that can say that that's true, and that's what's being said here. So again, there is an individual who's going through this moment of catharsis and recognition, and they're like, now I see. But across the board, there is this sense of like, when people mature, they can see you, and they're like, okay, now I see the actual value of this. If it feels like sometimes you aren't as thanked as you should be. One final thank you for you here. One from me. Thank you for being here this far. If you are a returning listener, thank you for all of the time that you spent with me. I'm so grateful to have you here. Hope that this reading had something for you, as always. And Godspeed. Hope to catch you at another one. Bye.